Man is all imagination, and God is man and exists in us and we in him. Imagination is not a tool for entertainment. It is the core of your being. It is not fiction. It is not fantasy. It is the only reality. I tell you, nothing exists outside of your imagination. All that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your own wonderful human imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. You do not see with your eyes. You see through them. And what you see is determined not by the world out there, but by the images you accept and sustain within. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the cause, the source, the origin. So I ask you now, what are you imagining? Because whatever you dare to assume to be true and persist in will harden into fact. If you are experiencing limitation, lack, loneliness, it is not the world to blame. You are simply imagining unconsciously. You are misusing the creative power that is God within you. But once you awaken, once you realize that your own wonderful human imagination is Christ, you no longer plead, you no longer wait, you no longer ask if it is possible. You assume it is done. To live imaginatively is to live as God, to think from the end, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled. This is creation itself. You must dare to imagine boldly, to feel the reality of that which is not yet seen, and to rest in that knowing, no matter what the senses report. Your senses are not truth tellers. They only echo what you previously assumed. Change the assumption, and the world must conform. I have lived this. I have proven this law again and again. When I desired to leave the island of Barbados and had no means, no passage, no money, I simply imagined I was where I wanted to be. I slept in that state, and in a way no rational mind could have predicted, the world rearranged itself to fulfill it. You do not need the how. You need only the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the key. This is the secret. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and live in it. Persist in that state, and the world will mirror it. It is law. It cannot fail. You are not becoming something new. You are awakening to what you already are. You are the operant power. You are imagination itself, and imagination creates reality. So I ask you again, what are you imagining? Morning, noon, and night. What conversations are you replaying? What scenes are you accepting? What version of yourself are you assuming to be true? Because that, and only that, is what will be outpictured. The world does not change by effort, it changes by state. And state is a movement in imagination. Dare to believe in the reality of your unseen assumption. Dare to walk in that state regardless of appearances, and the world will echo it back to you in time. All things are possible to him who imagines. So imagine wisely, lovingly, boldly. Imagination creates the world of experience. I say to you, the world is not happening to you, it is happening through you and from you. There is no power outside of imagination, for imagination is the only cause. If you find yourself in unfavorable conditions, do not curse the mirror. Look not to the external for rescue. Withdraw within. Reimagine the scene. Revise the assumption. And know, as surely as night follows day, the outer will yield. All events are imaginal acts pushed out. You may not remember the seed, but the harvest will reveal the sower. To change your world, you do not beg, you do not plead, you assume. You go within and you claim the state you desire. You feel it real and you persist until it becomes natural. The great secret is this: imagination creates reality, not later, not someday. Now, even now, as you sit hearing these words, you are imagining. You are forming the mold into which life must flow. You are accepting something as true, and that very acceptance is creation. Do not think it takes time. Time is only the delay between imaginal act and physical echo. The greater the feeling, the more vivid the assumption, the swifter the response. So if you would transform your life, change your inner conversations, change your reactions, change what you dwell upon. Every event in your life is a reflection of a forgotten assumption. Every person you meet is cast in the drama you imagined, knowingly or unknowingly. So I ask you now, what are you imagining for yourself? What are you imagining for others? If it is not noble, not lovely, not elevating, change it. You need no one's permission. You need no proof. The moment you imagine differently and believe it, the law goes to work, for imagination is God, and God is within. Living in the end, the law of assumption. You are not here to wish, you are here to assume. For everything you desire already exists, not in the world of facts, but in the world of imagination. And the secret, dear friend, is to dwell in that world as if it were already true. This is the law of assumption. That which you assume to be true and persist in will harden into fact. You do not need to figure out the how. Leave that to the law. You are not the architect of outer details. You are the dreamer of inner realities. Imagine it, feel it real, and walk in that state day after day until the world bends to match it. To live in the end is to see only from the fulfilled desire. You must not look at your world and say, but it isn't here yet. You must look from the vision and say, it is already mine. When you think from the state, you think as the version of you who already has it. You speak differently, you walk differently, you radiate differently, and the law must reflect that signal back. If you assume lack, even in desire, you create delay. But if you assume fulfillment, even with nothing yet in hand, you draw it forth. Do not wait to be it. Be it now. This is the power of imagination. The secret is not to imagine and wonder. The secret is to imagine and believe. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality, to persist in the assumption, even when the world shows you contradiction. And this, I promise you, if you remain faithful to the end in imagination, the outer world will reflect your inner claim, not by effort, but by law. Persisting in the state, mental rehearsal and feeling it real. Persistence is the key, not once, not twice, but until it becomes natural, until the imagined state feels more real than the facts your senses report. You must rehearse it in mind until your body believes it, for the body is simply the servant of the mind. Your senses are trained by repetition, not by evidence, so you persist. You persist in the assumption that what you desire already is. You walk in the end, you sleep in the state, you feel it real. This is not pretending, this is not performance, this is creation. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and make that your dwelling place, you change your frequency. And the world, being only your reflected self, must change as well. The key is inner conviction, to hold the feeling not occasionally, but continuously, to return to it when you drift, to remind yourself, I am not becoming, I am. Do not look for results. That would be stepping out of the state. Look only within. Live from it, not toward it. You are not moving toward your desire. Your desire is moving toward you by law. Let the world say what it will. Let appearances deceive the outer man. But you, in the silence of imagination, know the truth. The truth is what you assume. The fact is what follows. So let your assumptions be high. Let them be lovely. Let them be bold. Because what you dare to imagine and persist in, it will manifest. It must. Faith, revision, and divine imagination. To imagine boldly is to live by faith. And faith is not blind. It is vision. It is the power to see what the senses cannot, to feel what has not yet taken form, and to trust it into being. When I say to have faith, I do not mean passivity. I mean deep, unwavering loyalty to your inner world. I mean making the invisible more real than the visible. You may falter, you may forget, but the law is merciful, for imagination allows revision. Yes, you may revise. The past itself is subject to your creative power. For what you remember, you recreate. So change the memory, feel it differently, see it as you wish it had been, and the very foundations of your reality will begin to shift. This is the gift. You are not bound by what was, you are only bound by what you accept. The world is not final, it is fluid, it is ever malleable to the command of imagination. And imagination, your divine self, is not limited by time or reason. It is not concerned with logic or proof. It operates by feeling. What you feel deeply and consistently is your prayer, your offering, your instruction to the field. God does not reside in a temple made by hands. He dwells in the imagination of man. When you imagine with love, with conviction, with clarity, you are not asking God to act. You are acting as God. There is no separation. You and your imagination are one. That is the divine spark. That is the light within you. And when you honor it, when you use it deliberately, you do not just change your life, you awaken. You are the operant power. You create you now that you know. What will you imagine? You see, imagination is not passive. It is not fantasy. It is not child's play. It is the instrument of God. It is the very breath of creation. It is the power that forms galaxies and the quiet force that rearranges your life. I have told you from the beginning, you are the operant power, not your background, not your circumstances, not your past. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are the author, you are the director, and most importantly, you are the only one who must believe, for no one else can imagine for you, no one else can feel your desire, no one else can persist in your assumption. That is your divine responsibility, and it is your greatest gift. So assume boldly, persist faithfully, revise lovingly, and live fully, not in reaction, but in creation. The world will mirror your inner man. So let the inner man be noble, let him be whole, let him be free. You were never meant to settle, you were never meant to wait for permission. You were meant to imagine and become. Feel the end, live in the end, rest in the end, and watch the world conform. You do not become what you want, you become what you assume. So assume the highest, believe in the unseen, trust the law, and know this always. There is no power outside of you. Everything begins and ends in imagination, and imagination is you. You are not here to survive. You are here to remember. You are here to awaken. You are here to create consciously, lovingly, divinely, because in the end, you create you.